Okay. That was amazing. I loved having you guys sing with us. Did you feel that? Did I mention the oxytocin raising that happens when you sing in a group? Did I mention the feel-good hormones that just spread around when you sing together? It's very lifting. If you ever sang in a group, or you never have, you should try it sometime. Oh, I'm so sorry, I left my cards over here. Hope I don't fall. Did you see that? Was it a Saturday Night Live recently when somebody like fell backwards? Yeah, that's right. Okay, so the reframe, because you'd really have to work on reframing that one. Like, no, I didn't make a fool out of myself. The reframe is so powerful. And the reframe, we coaches love the reframe. The reframe is awesome because it is just what it says it is, right? You have this beautiful picture that you love, and for years you've always wanted to frame it, but you just never have. And you finally decide to go to the frame store and you pick out this beautiful matting, and it just brings these vibrant things out of the picture you never even saw before. And then you pick the frame, probably the most expensive one, the frame girl, because they always try to push you the expensive ones. And you go, oh my God, I love it, have to have it. You go back to get the picture and you go, oh my God, it's never looked like this before. It's so beautiful. And that's really what the reframe is, right? We have a story. It's a hard story. It's always something we had to get over, right? Or get through, because you really can't get over. You just got to get through it, right? And here's the interesting piece. All of our friends, they see the beautiful story. They see our strength. But sometimes we just can't see it, right? You ever had that moment where you can't see something? Like, I call this in my house, you're looking for it with your mouth, okay? Like, Mom, where's my favorite jeans? I know you took them, right? They're always right here. So, honey, they're up behind your closet in a ball behind the door. Okay, that's where you put all your dirty clothes. And if they don't get in the basket, they don't get washed. No, they're not here. I've already looked. So I know I can stop what I'm doing. Walk right up there and get those jeans. Why? Because they already told themselves they can't find them, they're lost, they're gone. So you can't. Your brain says, they're lost, they're gone, I can't find them. You can be looking right at it. Like the time I was trying to get out the door with my little ones when they were really small, and you know, you're frantic, and this one, oh my God, now the diaper's dirty, gotta change that, gotta get the bucket, gotta get the bag, and the phone, oh my God, the phone. But where's the baby? Oh my God, where is she? She's on my hip the whole time. Have you ever had a moment like that? It's always with the phone, right? I'm on the phone the other day, I think I was talking to you, and I was like, I can't leave yet. I can't find my phone anymore. Like, where is my brain? My brain is back here, right? It's in my reptilian brain, like, fight or flight, the phone. How many times have you left your house, you're in panic because you don't have your phone? I don't have my phone right now, and that's why I'm so afraid. It's down in my booth doing credit card purchases. I couldn't take it with me. I was like, I can't take it? Okay. So back to the reframe. The reframe is just like I said it is. But sometimes, oh my God, I'm stuck. Oh my God, I'm stuck. How do we lift up the needle and move it on to the next song, right? How do we get out of that, oh my God, I'm stuck and I can't even see my own story? Well, that's when you call the friend, not that first friend I told you about. Oh my God, that sucks. Not that one. Call the other friend. You know, the uplifting one. Call that one. Because they already know how beautiful your story is. They already see the strength in you that sometimes we can't see ourselves. So that is why I feel like the reframe is, it's so pivotal. It's so, so important. Because when you can look at your story in a different way and you can change your lens, I hate to over-dramatize it, but you can change your life. You really, really can. Because now we've become aware, right? Now we know, ooh, I don't know if I want to keep telling that story. So now I can make that choice. I'm not sure I want to tell that story because I'm not sure. I don't like the outcome of it. I don't like the way it makes me feel. And it doesn't make anybody else feel really good either. So we talked about how we couldn't see it when it was right in front of us, but it makes me think of Wayne Dyer. I love Wayne Dyer. Wayne Dyer fans. he was like a second father to me. I just had such a connection with him. And I actually got to meet him in 2014, which was, and hand him one of my CDs. I was like, oh, so his PBS special, I don't know, circa 2009 maybe. You know, the one where he talks about when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Did anybody see that one? Love that. I love them all. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And it's actually a scientific theory, if you will. Talk to any scientist who runs experiments. They can't look at things too long because their impressions of it changes, and they can change the whole outcome of the experiment. So it makes me think, I'm going to use this example of the beautiful people of teenagers. Because they're so interesting, right? They're interesting. And we giggle because we don't always understand how interesting they really are. And why they're interesting. I am very geeky when it comes to brain stuff. Love it. I don't know why. I am not a neuroscientist. But I love that kind of stuff. What's going on in the brain. What part of the brain. And I know you weren't going to guess that. And you weren't going to guess that I was an English major based upon the words in that first song. You got it, you got it, you got it. And my English professors in college are like turning over right now. But we have a certain artistic liberty, right? Adrian, just Adrian. So, sorry, I got off my point there. Oh, the brain. See, I just forgot right there. Brain went to the back. Fight or flight, you forgot. Oh my God, they would think you're an idiot. Right? So my brain started saying the story I started telling myself right there. So the Wayne Dyer stuff is so important, and I'm going to tell you quickly about the teenagers, and then we'll move on to the next one. The teenagers are brilliant because I read this book called Brainstorm by this really dry psychology guy, Daniel. Do you know him? And I love his stuff. And come to find out, he's actually a neighbor of my sister's out in Santa Monica. But he's brilliant because it made me understand what's going on in there, right? So, oh my God, they're so searching for novelty. And of course they're trying to pull away. And all these changes, their brain is changing more in these years than ever in their whole entire life. Even more than when they were a newborn infant, which is crazy, right? And the emotional highs and lows, it's all part of the brain chemistry changing. Well, when I look at it that way, it all makes sense, right? And it makes it easier to know how to navigate around. Because now I know what's really going on. It's not just, belligerence or defiance or any one of those answers. It's just the way the brain is. So when we change the way we look at things, the things we look at change. When we change the way we look at our own stories, then our stories start to change. They start to morph. We can have that choice. I can decide if I like it or not. I can decide how I want to change it, if I want to change it, or if it's one of those stories that maybe I'm just not going to tell anymore. But really, it all sums up nicely, I think, with the way we look at things. And Einstein said it so brilliantly. We can look at the world in two ways. As if nothing's a miracle, or as if everything's a miracle. And I don't know about you, but I really like looking at things as if they're a miracle, because we can find miracles every day if we just open our eyes to them. So the next one is why. The why. What is the why? The why is you, beautiful people. You had it all along. Glenda comes down in her little bubble. It's so funny because Adrian and I were just talking about this morning. She comes down. Have you looked at that recently, The Wizard of Oz? Yes. I Googled it a few times because I want to make sure I get the words right. And Glenda comes down in her beautiful little bubble, and she's a little wand on everybody. And she says, Dory, you had the power to go home all along. Right? I don't make very good Glenda. Or he's a little pitiful, so I won't do that one. But the point is, we had the power all along. But again, we didn't see that. We didn't see that in our stories because we got stuck in the groove of our old stories. Sometimes we just need to be lifted up and move to a different groove, right? So we had the power all along. Well, that's great, Carrie, but what do you mean by that? Well, We had the power, but we forgot we had the power because in this world that we live in right now, we're so externally focused, aren't we? We're like, oh, and everything has to be beautiful and in perfect order. My car, and I got my phone, I gotta get a new case, oh, I gotta upgrade, it's only 6 months old, better get a new phone. You know, all the external things, we have people come in, we're gonna feng shui the house, and feng shui the room. But I think we forgot to feng shui this room. I think that's the room that needs the feng shui, right? It's not the other stuff. It's cleaning out that house. It's getting all those things we don't wear, we don't use, and get them in bags, and get it over to Savers, you know, get it out. Go through the closets and decide, do I like this one? Don't like that one. Do I like this one? No, it's got a big stain on it, let's throw that one out. It's a very similar process. Very similar process. You know, it's interesting, we talk about our houses and all of our things outside of ourselves, and I was reading this article this morning that said that never before has there been a generation that lived in bigger houses. Think about it, right? It's true. Never a generation with as big of the houses that we live in. However, our connection is not what it used to be. I mean, we don't have people over into our big houses. Try stopping in us. You ever do the pop by? Did the old stink eye for you? You cannot stop by. We used to all the time. In my neighborhood, you could stop by anytime you wanted to. And now it's like, oh my God, somebody's at the door. What do we do? Like I even taught my kids, don't answer the door when mommy's not home. Big scary people might come in and take our furniture. Like what's going to happen if we answer the door? I'm not sure. Or, this one kills me. You can't even call people. Like, you cannot call a friend. I mean, you could try, but I find myself, is it okay to call you in 10 minutes?
Yep.
Can you, like, what is that?
Yep.
I can't even call you spontaneously to, like, share some great news. I need an appointment to call you now.
Yep.
It's no wonder we are so disconnected. We have all these devices supposedly to stay connected, but actually we've become more disconnected as a society. We've got these big houses. Come on over, you guys. Let's have a big party. All you guys. We'll talk about this further. Is that okay, honey? So, I think the feng shuiing of the brain and the mind is so important. But how the heck do we do that, Barry? I've never seen feng shui your brain online, have you? Not seen that. So, I'm gonna offer, and I know you've heard it before, but now there's so many studies that prove that meditation is the way to get to know yourself, right? I opened by saying the first line of the song was, if you don't even know me, how can you know you? And the way to know you is to spend some quiet time with you, right? To get in there and get quiet. And there's so many different flavors of meditation now. I don't care what kind you choose, whatever works for you, but it's just the fact of getting quiet. To allow those things. And to even just experience what are those things that come up for me when I'm quiet, when we give ourselves enough time to sit down and to be quiet. God, somebody has to fix that little My whole videotape's going to be like, it's like haunted house in here. Okay, so meditation is so important. And we all have the intention, right? We intend to meditate. Oh, I want to do it so bad. But then it's so hard to find the time to do it, isn't it? You know, and then you start a new one. I was just starting this new one, and it was like 53 minutes? I don't have 53 minutes. Maybe 5 or 10. I mean, UCLA has a little app that you can get for a 5-minute meditation. We can do 5 minutes, can't we? I don't care how long you meditate for, and I'll tell you, I figured out the secret because I've been doing this for many, many years. The secret is, and I know you've probably heard it, put it on your calendar. It's got to become a ritual, because I don't know if you're anything like me, I've got my morning ritual already. So if it doesn't fit in, it doesn't get done. And then at the end of the day, oh, I'll do that tomorrow. Start fresh tomorrow, and tomorrow doesn't always come. So, and it's cumulative, right? Have you ever noticed when you're on a really good roll with it, and like you start meditating, you're like, oh my God, I feel so good. And it's like, oh, I don't have to do it tomorrow. Oh, and then I don't have to do it the next day, right? And not, oh, but you work so hard, you know, and it's all about the ritual and making it part of your schedule. And so I'm going to geek out a little bit on the brain stuff, because you know I like that. I hope you like it too. So it keeps our hippocampus healthy and strong. You know, the hippocampus, I call it little Mr. Seahorse. It's part of your brain that looks like Mr. Seahorse. And that is the part that is going to enhance your learning and memory. You don't mind that, do you? Learning and memory? I like learning and memory. And meditation tells the amygdala, the guy in the back that shouts out, oh my God, it's a crisis, he lost your phone. Fight or flight, fight or flight. Chill out, man. Right? That's like your really cool chill out friend. Chill out. It builds a faster, fatter, fitter frontal cortex. Right? We all need a fitter frontal cortex right now because we are so distracted, and focus and concentration and attention, that's all here in our frontal cortex. So why not get a fitter, fatter cortex? It's one of the few things I'm going to call fitter and fatter, right? Increase the gray matter in your brain, and it lengthens telomeres. Well, what's a telomere? I learned about a telomere when I heard Deepak. Have you ever done Deepak Oprah meditation freebies? Oh, they're so good. They like give you, and they set the intention, they give you this, just a great little talk in the beginning. They're wonderful. If you've never tried it or had a practice that you stuck to, it's a really easy way, and they're free. And just sign up for it online. But I don't work for Deepak Chopra, but I just wanted to tell you about that. So the telomeres are so cool because they are the little, like an end cap on your chromosomes. And when your chromosome end caps, your telomeres are long, you're nice and healthy, but as we age, they get shorter. But they have done studies that show that a meditating brain has longer telomeres. So that alone, I'm going to do that for that. It strengthens your corpus callosum, it thickens your corpus callosum, it peaks in the middle, that allows you to jump between your left brain and your right brain, right? Is anybody enjoying the geeking out with me here? Yeah. And the insula, tiny little guy that's down in the middle center part of your brain, and it's related to self-awareness, which we've been talking about today, and empathy. So you just can't help but to get more self-aware and know yourself better when you're meditating because of that cute little insula down there that's getting stimulated. And all this is backed by scientific study, okay? It used to be so woo-woo, and your real tree huggers do that, and all this. It is so proven now. They have people that go into corporations and teach people in corporations how to meditate, right? You can meditate for anything nowadays. So, and the cool thing about it is it also enhances all of my 5 foundations that we just talked about, right? It enhances your state. That's proven. It's factual. Your intention, meditation allows you to set an intention for the day. Write it down. I had this coach one time. We did some shadow coaching, and every day she would make me send her my intention. And at first I was like, oh my God, I don't know. Every day I have to have a new one? Oh, this is hard. So I just write her things that sounded pretty. But then I started needing that intention because when I started setting it, well, my actions started following that intention just because I took that 1 minute to set the intention for the day. And that's what meditation, if it does anything else, it's going to help you do that. And then STO, the outcome. It's going to help you focus. Well, if you've got an intention, your outcomes are going to be better. You're going to be able to decide, do I want to keep telling the story? Do I want to tell, do I don't like the outcome of this? It makes me feel bad. Can we make the outcome be, I want to tell a story that makes me feel good and that makes you feel good too? That would be a good outcome. And then the reframe, well, the reframe's easier, way easier, because now you have the insula all sparked up, and now you're going to have more self-awareness, so you're going to actually see how beautiful your story really is. It really always is a story of strength. I mean, I could lay down on this floor, or I could stay in my bed and cry every day, because I have a lot of sad things that happen in my life. But you know what? It feels better to meditate and set an intention and look for this strength. I would not have this music. I would not have stepped out and become what I am. I was a very corporate person in the corporate world for a really long time with a really successful career. And I wouldn't have written this music. A lot of it came from a place of deep pain. And that's our oyster, right? That's our pearl. That's shining up the stories to see that, hey, I probably wouldn't have all this music if all that stuff didn't happen to me in my life. Or you might not be a great entrepreneur if all the obstacles that happen to you in your life, if you didn't have them, if you didn't get over them or get through them, your life would be very different. It makes us more beautiful to have those obstacles and to be able to talk about it in a positive way with other people. And then why? Well, we already talked about why is you. That's the last one. And of course, when you're feeling better about yourself, you're less inclined to be telling negative stories. And you're going to be more inclined to tell a loving story. So love yourself enough, even just to meditate for 5 minutes a day. 5 minutes a day. So I leave you with a little story about Carolyn. And then we're going to do the last song. It's a huge celebration. So I want you to sing with us. It's called Take It Back. It's about taking your power back. And I'll tell you a quick story about Carolyn. Carolyn is this amazing lady. And she had a really beautiful life. Married the man of her dreams. Only man she ever loved. Married him. Married for 40 years. Had 5 kids. Lived in a nice house. Kids all went to school at a good school. They went on. They grew up to be pretty good people and have their own families. And then, some of the kids started all having babies. So Carolyn and her husband Dick became grandparents. And life was really, really good. It was good. And all they ever wanted to be was grandparents. And 3 of their girls were pregnant at the same time and had babies. And life was fantastic. And then their oldest daughter, who had been sick for many years, she had juvenile diabetes since she was 11. And she died tragically when she was 38. And it was super, super sad. And it was devastating, quite frankly. I'm not going to gloss over it. And they decided together, because it was so devastating, and I think the most devastating thing to outlive a child in this world. And so they decided that they wouldn't tell that story. That was going to be one of those stories. They couldn't tell the shoulda, woulda, couldas of that story. They just couldn't do it. One day they said, I can't go through this anymore. I can't tell those stories. And they made this pact to not tell that story. And then life went on. They tried to get on with it and buy their dream house in California that they always wanted and moved into it. And 18 months later, the love of her life walks out the door and she never saw him again. He was in a tragic accident and she never got to say a word to him after that unknowing moment. And I'm telling you this because it is a story of strength. And Carolyn, of course devastated, decided to sell that house and go travel and see her grandkids and go live with the different kids around the country. And she decided she had to carry on. She was still here and she really had no choice. She had to reframe that picture for herself, that she was living for these grandkids that came into her life. And so a few years after that, they're traveling around. They discovered that she had this massively huge tumor, and I just know that was all her grief and her sadness in her left side of her body. And so she went to Dana-Farber, and they said, hey, they didn't tell her the story that this was a really super rare cancer, and nobody ever really survives it, and even if they do, the chances of it recurring are really high. They didn't tell her that story. They decided to tell you the story because they're very smart and progressive over there. They said, hey, we've got this really cool pill, and if you take this pill, we're going to shrink this tumor down, super small, and we're just going to sneak in there laparoscopically, and we're going to take it out. You're going to be okay. And she said, I like that story. All right, let's try this. So she did. She took the pill. 9 months later, which is a weird number, but 9 months later, that tumor shrunk down. They went in, they took it out. They asked Carolyn, oh my God, this is a miracle. I mean, this thing was so huge. We've never seen one this big. Can we talk to our classes about you and use you as an example? And she said, of course. Because all of it was such a miracle, and they saw that it was a miracle too. And only recently, when I started writing my book about Your Story Sucks, I said, Mom, I never asked you. I never said, what were you saying to yourself? Like, how did you get through that? And you still come to my home with a smile on your face and have so much love to give. Like, I I never asked you, what is it that you said to yourself? What was the story that you told yourself? And she said, oh, I just said, you can't hurt me anymore. And I was like, whoa, okay. She said it not from a, you know, you can't hurt me anymore, I can't take this. Look at all these things. It was, you can't hurt me anymore. Look at me, I am still here. I am still shining. It was from such a place of strength. That story really inspired me. And I hope I've inspired you here today, and I hope that you sing with us for this last big celebration of taking back your power today. Come on, Adrian.